Some of the big challenges that our clients are facing, and really any company that's engaging with a contingent workforce are facing, is rogue spend, hiring managers using people in different ways than the HR team expects, or even just than the budget allows for.
Managing diverse vendor relationships, maintaining visibility and control over the contingent labor programs and costs, and really finding ways to optimize their workforce quality. Data is critical as it relates to managing their extended workforce and visibility.
Hiring and retaining a qualified workforce, maximizing the productivity of that workforce, and really ensuring that companies are compliant in the city and state that the employees are working in.
How do we manage a contingent workforce that may have very different priorities or very different ideas of what it means to engage? And how do we make it consistent and compliant so that as they grow, we can continue to supply that visibility and data all in those different arms?
From what I've seen, these challenges have changed over the years in the sense of the level of importance of how they play a factor in the contingent workforce. I think it's always been critical, but now when we're looking at new ways of work, managing a very remote or diverse workforce, the flexibility in the workforce that is required today, visibility into their workforce and data to be able to see in real time what's happening. And now specifically around finding ways to create efficiencies and optimizing their workforce, it's now become a forefront of the conversation, even more so than it ever has before. It's just become, in my opinion, more and more prevalent today than it ever has.
Because of COVID, things have really just changed. The rules of the games have changed. And data and talent really can help us solve these challenges when it comes to understanding things about the workforce. How long does it take to fill positions? If there is turnover, where is it happening and when? And lots of companies really want to understand, what are we spending on our contingent extended workforce?
The biggest change we've seen in how clients are managing their contingent workforce or engaging with them is really the visibility on who is working at any given point, who is engaging, what different departments are engaging with contingent workforce. I think when things are good, or the economic cycle is good for a company, that becomes much less important. But when things get tight, or you're having budget constraints, or you want to really understand where the talent is coming from, you need a different type of visibility than you need in good times. Ideally, you have it at all times. But the changes that we've seen is, as the economic cycles have been changing more rapidly over the last few years, or there's more uncertainty or a boom time, you want to have a consistent way of looking at your spend that doesn't depend just on where you are in that economic cycle for your company. And Taliant allows for that. It'll allow you to see, at one point, do we have more SOW workers? Are we engaging with an MSP provider where we have multiple agencies? Or do we have one provider that we're looking at the department spend with that one provider? It allows for that visibility in both good and bad times to stay consistent and to have an easy way of knowing who's engaging your contingent workforce and how they're engaging with